I think a lot of us are excited about Star Wars The Acolyte, which is being written, and the showrunner is Leslie Headland. But after a recent interview with her, I'm actually a little bit scared, to be honest. But I'll share the information, and then you can let me know in the comment section down below if you share my fear or if you're like, Rawr, it's okay, calm down.
You're fulfilling your destiny.
So in case you're not aware, the Acolyte will be set during the end days of the High Republic, when its power is starting to wane, and the rise of the dark side and all the shadowy stuff that goes on in that. So we're gonna see a lot of dark side users. The AV Club interviewed Leslie Headland and was asking her some questions about the show and about Star Wars in general. And while I really like her energy, and I love that she loves Star Wars and that she's loved it for so long, there were things that really frightened me that she thought were good. Like, did you know that she hired a writer for the show that had no knowledge of Star Wars, had never watched anything Star Wars related, and barely knew that Luke and Leia were siblings? I'm not fucking with you. Here's the exact quote from Leslie on hiring.
I literally had one writer that was like, I have never seen any of them. I've never seen any Star Wars media. And she's texting me before we started the room. She's like, Luke and Leia are brother and sister. What the? And it was so great because I would really love to know from someone who is not fully immersed in this fandom, what do you think about the pitch we just made? So while she did her due diligence and did a lot of background work and research, at the same time, she was somebody that we could kind of talk to and say, okay, so if we take all the kind of signifiers out of it, and this is a Star Wars version of X, what does it mean to you? She would be able to give some feedback. Well, I'm not kind of wondering what's going on with this character, and in this scene, I'm wondering why so-and-so isn't saying this. So that was what I really wanted, an active conversation between my writers and myself, and not so much a room full of people that would kind of just automatically agree with what I say.
Why does that terrify me on some level? Like, I get her perspective, and I enjoy it because if you read the interview, she talked a lot about wanting to hire a variety of people from different experiences, perspectives, and not people that were just going to agree with her. But it sounds kind of stupid. Like, you should hire writers to work on a Star Wars project that, you know, love Star Wars and are familiar with it and, you know, watched it. Maybe read some books, some comics. I mean, there's even a quote, which I'm going to read to you, where she shared, oh yeah, some of my writers have no idea when certain events happened or that they happened in general, and I have to be the one to be like, oh yeah, no, it's this. So let's read that quote.
It is weird to be the person who's going, well, in 325 BBY, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? And I have to go, hold on, I'll send you a link. Everyone's like, should that be another person doing that? Why is the showrunner doing that? And I'm like, here's a picture, this is what he looks like.
Okay, it's fine, I'm fine. I'm sure multiple writers having no idea what and when Star Wars events happens is fine, it's fine. I do want to bring up, if you're worried that she is going to make the Acolyte political in nature, she confirmed absolutely yes, she is going to make the show political, and she is working a lot on representation. So she talked a lot about how with creating your own characters, you can make them however you want them to be. And she really wants to include the LGBTQ+ into this series and give them a lot of representation. Because she feels that children need to see that representation so they can feel like they belong. Which makes sense because her favorite Star Wars medium isn't the films, comics, books, but actually is just role-playing because she liked creating her own events and characters, and if anyone questioned and went, that's not really Star Wars, she could go, well, it was my own character that I created, so I create the rules of that character. And she further talked about why she's going to make her show political, and actually it's inspired by George Lucas, so here is that quote.
George Lucas made it political. Those are political films. War is by nature political. That's just what's up. It's truly what he was interested in talking about and looking at and digging into, so it's kind of impossible to tell a story within his universe that doesn't have to do with something that has to be the character seen externally reflected in whatever's happening in the galaxy at the particular time period of when it takes place. You know, that's another thing that we all kind of inherited from him as well, and I hope to kind of keep reflecting in the work, hopefully.
I wonder if she's going to take the rise of the dark side and make a huge political statement about it. Do you think she's going to do it in a clever way, or do you think she's going to do it in a very obtuse, already been done, already been seen a million times sort of way? She also further kind of hammered it home that she will be having representation behind the camera and also in front of it.
I mean, one of the things we did in our writer's room to kind of break the ice was, who's your favorite Star Wars character? And you could tell that people, when I said mine, they were like, yeah, well, you're gay. That's because you're gay. But it's true. It's a beautiful conversation to be having. Sometimes people think that representation just completely within media, meaning within the story, makes up for representation behind the camera. And that's, to me, even more important. Like I said, media representation is wildly important. And there's also this kind of nuanced conversation that I wish more people were having about people behind the camera and behind the scenes, because I think that's really where you see real change occur and the real seismic shift in culture.
I don't know why, but I would feel really offended if someone took my sexuality and was like, oh, you're pansexual, so that's the reason why you like these characters. I would go, fuck you? Like, my sexuality doesn't dictate which characters I like. So that kind of worries me a little bit about her, that she's like, oh yeah, I liked characters that could be interpreted as gay or gay because I'm gay. And it's like, that's not someone's entire identity. At the very least, we know this show is going to have a lot of emotion. She talked about how she cries about everything. She saw a little girl dressed up as Rey. It made her cry because, look, women can be Jedi, even though we already saw that with the prequels. She cried with an Orbitz commercial when two women were a couple. She cried when she saw a couple that were women at an airport. So she's very emotional in general, so I feel like she's gonna bring a lot of emotion to this show. But she does seem to have a really deep love of Star Wars, which of course I love. Anyone working on a project of Star Wars, I want them to love the franchise and want to nurture it and make it as good as they can make it. But let me know what your thoughts are on this in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe, and just, are you excited for this show? Are you not excited for it? I just want to see the rise of the dark side, because the dark side needs a lot more love.